So this is this week I'm really focused. So last week we were doing kind of this chest opener stuff, talking a lot about this broad collarbone, and now we're gonna zero in on shoulder stuff.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, which is also, you know, obviously connects to my rib cage, connects to this whole effort. So, all right, so let's come. Let's have some blocks available.
Right.
And most likely we will use the strap.
I've got one just
Need
it.
And let's actually we will start supine. So you can take yourself down, and let's start with the notion of really settling my upper body down. So sometimes I like to actually literally kind of elbows down, lift my rib cage, and then sink down and see if I just really feel those shoulder blades right smack underneath me, flat underneath me, and then see if my arm bones can drop into the socket so that I make contact with the back of the mat with my shoulder, which if I was terribly like this, it might be harder to do. If this was my normal place to be, that might be harder to do. So just so same notion of the collarbone is really wide or the arm bones are in the socket. We can sort of say the same thing in a couple of different ways. And let's just be here for a moment, just come into your breath so we can come into our interior space. And notice how kind of the shoulders are involved really with the top of the inhalation, right? Because the air sort of first comes into the chest here, and then expands the rib cage, and then expands the belly, and then kind of leaves here last. And see if you can feel, because I've been playing with this with, you know, I usually close with some 3 cycles of breath. And I've been playing with the idea of sort of sighing, feeling like I externally rotate my shoulders on the side. So see if you can notice when you exhale, if the last part of the exhale, when the air is just coming out of the chest, out of the lungs, you can feel a little broader just on the exhale. It's interesting to just sort of just put that message in the system. So almost like the sigh relaxes the whole shoulder system. All right. So I'm going to make 2 right angles or 2 L's by the side of my body. So there's an L. So this is not an L and this is not an L, but this is an L. So they're both on both sides of my body. So my hands are opposite each other. And I'm going to hug my elbows into my body. And the first thing I want to do is just come up and over, and then it's sort of my fingers tap and then come on back. And you might feel a little movement in the shoulder blade because the shoulder blade does have to tip up to allow the arm to come up and overhead. It still remains flat on my back. It's not unlike what my shoulder blade does to take me into downward facing dog. So we can just notice that as we move, some slight motions back there. Beautiful. And then kind of come up and over, and then I'm going to drop open, and I should be in cactus, which I'll sit up to just make sure there's cactus. And once you're in cactus, again, just really feel this big external rotation is what's happening in cactus, and just feel as open as you can feel. Some people's hands may not come down on the ground, but many people's will. So that's okay. Don't fight it wherever you are. And we are going to now squeeze the elbows together. So this is external rotation. I'm going to squeeze my elbows together, which is going to take my shoulders into internal rotations. I'm just feeling that difference. And then I'm going to open up again. So there's our action. So you can just breathe naturally with it, or you can choose to exhale here and inhale when you come together. Couple more times, just feeling it. Beautiful. And then arms right down by my side. This time, turn your palms up. And we're going to use I've probably done this with you. We're going to do some arm activation for bridge. But rather than being palm down, I want to be palm up today. So the back of my palm is making contact with the floor. And I do want to press it down, press my forearm down, press my elbow down, press my upper arm down, and my shoulder back. And then use all that energy. And then I'm going to lift my hips as high as I can. And then float back up. We can add the breath. So let's exhale up. In, up, down, vertebrae by vertebrae, really feeling the support of the arms. So see what you notice in terms of the muscles that are awakened on your back by having this arm activation participate in the bridge. Notice that. And we'll go in reverse. I introduced it for the bridge, and I'll take it away so you can notice the difference too. So a couple more with the arm really activated. Come down, and then kind of release the arms, but lay them down by your side, and just try out just a few bridges without that, and just notice what you notice in terms of the difference of where you don't feel some of that back activation. All right, hug the knees in, rock your seat a little bit. And let us come all the way around to prone. So I'm just going to roll around till I'm on my belly, and I can have my hands right under my shoulders here. And let my shoulders drop down so you just feel it release. So they drop down, and then bring your arm bone back into the socket. Your head is floating, your hands are here. And let's push up into cobra. So my back of my shoulders and my back ribs are going to lift me up. And kind of go up slowly. Maybe I end up here, maybe I go further, maybe I go all the way to straight-ish arms, right? So you can decide how far up or down you want to go. And I do usually inhale up and exhale down. A couple more just like that. Really feel the activation of the back of the shoulders. So the shoulders are drawing back towards the hip to lift me up. Beautiful. Now I'm going to turn to show this because we're going to do an early shoulder stretch, which is this. I'm going to place one arm this way and one, so I cross my arms, and then I'm letting my head come down. So I've got some head weight stretching the shoulders. So it's not unlike the normal one where I hold it across, but I'm going to use some body weight to stretch it this way. Breathe here. So both are getting stretched equally, but I like to change the cross. It's not that different, but I like to change the cross for a few more breaths. All right, then when I come up, I'm going to stretch out my right arm, place my left hand here, and now I want to push my body up. So I'm stretching my shoulder in the opposite direction, also getting a chest stretch here. And then take myself out of that, and then the opposite, so I'm not mirroring you, left arm, and come up the other way. Beautiful. And then work yourself around to all fours. Now, if you have trouble with your wrists, you might be on fists here. If you're not on fists, I'd like you to really spread your hand out. Your knees are underneath your hips. So you're making a box, and you can feel your shoulders in line with your hips, both shining down on the mat if you had flashlights on both. Arm bones are in your socket, and we're gonna come into cat and cow with quite a bit of attention to the shoulder structure as we do this cat and cow. So I'm going to inhale. As per usual, my belly is filling as my pelvis lifts, and my head's going to lift, and my shoulders are going to draw backwards towards my hips. And my shoulder blades are coming together, squeezing together back there. Then when I exhale, I'm going to belly button to spine, pelvis drops, head drops. My shoulders come forward, and my shoulder blades separate, and they're coming in the direction of coming under my armpit. And this, we're going to talk about this as a scapular push-up. We're going to build up into a scapular push-up, but for now, just keep going in your cat and cow. So we're essentially doing, as we normally do in cat and cow, a scapular push-up inside the cat and cow, and then we're going to take it out and isolate it. When we keep building our work here. So keep going nice and feel super strong in the arms. Full cycle. Then inhale and finding your really long neutral. Feel really solid in the whole shoulder structure. And we're going to turn so this is clear. We're going to do a funny little fire hydrant bird dog where I want to make two L's. So there's the L, which is my leg coming up with my knee bent, and then I'm just going to bring my my elbow up right to the side too. So opposite, I just demonstrated the same side, obviously opposite sides. So left arm, right leg, two, and then left leg, right arm. So that's all I'm alternating. I'm trying to stay really still in my torso, really strengthening for the core. You can draw the core in as you work. You're breathing. A little more. All right. Sliding back to a child's pose with your arms stretched out in front of you. And just relax for a moment here. Maybe you're turning your wrist so you relax the wrist tension a little bit. Beautiful. Let's inhale forward. Now let's stay in all fours. We're going to build scapular push-ups out through the practice. So my hands are underneath my shoulders, and I'm going to do the following. I'm going to push down on the mat, and it's going to push me away. So my thoracic spine rounds, and I'm pulling my shoulder blades apart, parking them underneath my armpit. And then I'm going to let them retract. So we're just paying attention to the shoulder blade motion, which is known as protraction and retraction. So the shoulder blade can move in many directions. It can do this. It can tip up, as we talked about, for downward facing dog, or anytime my arms are up and overhead. And they can elevate and depress. So those are kind of the range of motion, pretty of the shoulder blades, right? So and the whole point, and I think I've talked about this, the shoulders are the most mobile joint in the body. They can do the most between what the arm bone can do, what the shoulder blades can do. The only bone that does not move in the shoulder system is the clavicle or the collarbone. A couple more, just feeling this. We're going to build up to doing this in half plank and then potentially full plank. All right, relax, just kind of sit up for a moment so you can just sort of shake out. And we'll come up into a downward facing dog. So sometimes I put my hands kind of a little bit ahead of my shoulders in anticipating my dog. I'm going to tuck my toes. And when I inhale, my knees come up, my hips come up, and I'm all the way up. And I can go ahead and pedal. So feel what you can feel in the shoulder blades. Arm bones are in your socket. Arms are probably right by your ear. Your head and neck are relaxed. You can pedal here. Your chest is melting back towards your thighs. Your hips are reaching up and away. Thighs reaching up and back. And then stop pedaling and just inhale. Leave your heels wherever they are for you. And exhale. And inhale. And then when we exhale, we're going to just walk our hands back to the back of the mat. So eventually my heels will come down and I'm gonna hinge and bend into a forward fold. And then I want to walk back out to downward facing dog. And inhale and exhale. Inhale. Now exhale and walk back to your feet again. And inhale and walk forward. Exhale, walk back. This time, inhale to a half lift. Inhale, lift up to a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands in front of your heart. Great. Shake everything out. Pull up leggings if they're falling down. And grab a block. So, what I'd like to do first is this. I am going to make, again, 2 right angles or 2 L shapes. And the block is just between my hands in the long way. So it's kind of, it's not quite shoulder width, but it's kind of, it comes to where my shoulder crease is. So I'm right like this. And all I'm going to do first is a little rotator cuff activation, which is the following. I'm just going to squeeze. So squeeze and release, squeeze and release. And I get information that kind of comes all the way up the system. The rotator cuff are 4 muscles, 4 smallish muscles that hold the humerus bone, the arm bone in place. Squeeze and release. Elbows kind of stay hugged in, right? So they don't want to be out here, they're hugging in. Shh. And I do have my finger, like I'm not clutching, my fingertips are up. All right, now just lengthen down, relax a little bit, lengthen down. So you don't have to press as hard at the moment. Then I do want, so again, my fingers are long. I want to press in. So I'm pressing in with my palm and I'm going to keep pressing and I'm going to float up and overhead. And then I'm going to float back down again. So my shoulders stay down. Right? So this would be shoulders elevating, right? My shoulders are not elevating as I come up. The shoulder blade is tipping up to allow my arms to come up and overhead. Again, pretty subtle. I don't know that I feel that so precisely. More just like that. All right, we got one more variation here. So I'm going to come back to my right angled arms. And I do want to hug my elbows in, and this is pretty challenging. So I'll give it to you and you'll take it as it works for you. So standing up nice and tall, I'm just floating my elbows up to shoulder height and floating them back down again. And I will demonstrate, it would be a hell of a lot easier if I could do it like that. That's super easy. It feels harder to me to hug those elbows in. That feels harder to me, so just see how it feels to you. Keeping the right angle. So sometimes what I see happens when people come down here, they end up here somewhere. I'm actually just, I want to just stay here. So I'm never undoing the right angle. Good. Pressing in. One more time. All right. Let's move some more of our body parts. So let's come to the front of our mat. And we'll come into a standing series that we'll build. So let's inhale, nice and tall. When I exhale, I'm going to step my right leg back into warrior two. So let's just step the legs back first, and we'll talk. So front knee bend stacked over my ankle. Back foot is at a comfortable angle for me. Feel the edge of both feet. They're underneath you. This leg is straight. My hips are wherever they're comfortable for me. Somebody would be more open. Somebody might be more closed. That's okay. Then swing your arms, this arm up and around, and then bring this arm up. Okay, good. And look out over your left hand. This is my left hand, right hand. And what I'd like you to do is feel where the shoulder blades are right now. And then for this front reaching arm, I'd like you to pull the shoulder blade out, not unlike what we did before. Protract it, pull it under your armpit, and then retract it. Protract it. So we did both of them together in the scapula all fours push-up version. We're playing with this now because we're going to build up to Vashisthasana, side plank, where we want to specifically use that shoulder blade movement to strengthen the pose. So let's inhale here together. And then we're going to exhale to reverse our warrior. Inhale our arms up. Let's straighten our leg. Let's exhale over into a triangle. So once again, my hips are going to be where they're comfortable, but my whole shoulders, rib cage are aimed to the long edge of my mat as I take myself over. If I wanted to come onto a block, I could come onto a block. So this top shoulder is really stacked over the bottom shoulder, right? So it's not dropped down here at all. It's really stacked over the bottom shoulder or lifted up and back. Breathe here. Let's catch up to inhale together to come back up and then exhale, reverse it. Inhale, arms up. Let's exhale, we'll step forward. And we'll get ready for side two. Inhale, nice and tall. Exhale. The left leg steps back, bending the right knee, feeling the legs, lifting the arms into position, looking out over the right hand. And once again, pull that shoulder blade out, retract it, pull it out, and retract it. One more time, out and retract it. Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale, reverse our warrior. Inhale our arms up, straighten that leg. Exhale, so you're really open to the long edge of your mat as you come down into your triangle. Inhale to come up and exhale. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, we'll step it forward. Great. Let's have a little chair as we otherwise build on. So standing nice and tall at the top of your mat. We're going to use our arms for chair. So you've got two options. You can float your arms right in front of you if this is what's comfortable, or you can bring them up into the downward dog position of being near your ears. So you can take that choice. Inhale, tall. Exhale, sink into your chair, wherever that is for you. And breathe here. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna step into reverse warrior in one smooth motion. So I'm gonna inhale here. Then I'm gonna exhale, I'm gonna step my right leg back and then circle my arms around, and there I am, I'm in reverse warrior. Inhale, arms straight, and let's exhale. We're gonna go a little quicker into triangle. Inhale right back up and exhale, reverse. Now we're gonna take ourselves into revolved triangle. So inhale up, straighten the leg. Exhale, come into regular triangle. Then once you're there, take these shoulders and rib cage and rotate them around to the back of the room. So the opposite hand comes down. Again, you want it on a block, that's fine. And then you're looking back behind you and breathing. And then inhale back and up, and exhale, reverse. Now let's do this. Let's exhale and step ourselves right back into chair. Okay, so exhale and step back, you're in chair. And inhale. And then exhale, step your left leg back and exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, arms up, straighten the leg. Exhale into your opened triangle position. Really open upper body here. Inhale, back up, exhale, reverse. Inhale, arms up, straighten the leg. Exhale, come into your triangle, and then rotate the shoulders and rib cage all the way around, revolve triangle. And then inhale, come back, exhale to reverse. Inhale, let's exhale right on back to our chair. And inhale, we're gonna build on a little bit more. So I'm gonna exhale, step my right foot back into reverse warrior. Inhale, arms up, straighten my leg. Exhale, we'll go a little quicker. I'm in triangle. We're gonna move on the breath. Inhale, exhale, reverse. Inhale, exhale, triangle. Inhale here, exhale, revolve. Inhale up. And inhale up. Let's add half moon. So I'm going to, I've got two choices. I can put the block at its highest height like that, or I could have it in my hand. Sometimes I like it in my hand. I am going to step this leg in because it's just easier to get into half moon if I'm sort of just centered over my body. And I'm going to try to keep my front foot going straight ahead on the short edge of my mat. That's the thing I struggle with the most, because my foot wants to turn in when I go into half moon. So I try to work really hard to keep that like that. Because what happens is that our upper body is going to open to the long edge of the mat. And when we're elevated, our hip will also open, right? So we don't keep it closed like Warrior 3. We open it for half. All right, so let's inhale, grow taller. Let's build it up. Okay, inhale, grow taller. Then I'm going to exhale, and sometimes it's easier to sort of bend this knee to take myself over, get myself set. And then I'm really opening this shoulder, really opening this rib cage. And then when I get there, I'm opening this hip. And inhale, good, and exhale, step and go ahead and reverse it. Inhale, arms up. Let's exhale right back into chair. We got second side. Inhale. Exhale, stepping the left foot back and exhale into reverse. Inhale, arms up, straighten the leg. Exhale, triangle. Inhale, back up, exhale to reverse. Inhale, exhale, triangle. Inhale, exhale, revolve. Inhale, back and all the way up. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, arms up, and then just go ahead and take myself in, so I'm ready to go. I'm gonna do, you can see this from the back. So again, I can bend this knee as I start to come over to find it, and then I'm opening my upper body, and I'm opening my hip, and there I am. I got a little out of balance myself, so playing with it. And then inhale and exhale. And this time, inhale and then exhale, and you can step out of it without being in chair and just shake everything out. All right, great. So I'm contemplating things for the moment. Yes, okay. What I'd like to take now is wide-legged forward fold. So I'm going to, my toes are out, my heels are in a little bit. And I'm going to show it to you from this side because I'm actually not squatting here. I'm just sinking down. So my knees are going towards my toes. I'm just sinking down. So just go ahead and sink down, and then tee out your arms. And then from here, what I want to do is I'm going to fall forward flat back. I will make sure this is super clear. So I'm here and I'm going to fall forward flat back. And then I'm going to turn my thoracic spine, shoulders, rib cage underneath me. So that's my ambitions. I'm going to turn and turn. So this is shoulders and rib cage, using that rotation ability of the thoracic spine. One more set. Beautiful. And you got your flat back, and then you can just come on up, maybe pulse a little bit, and then heel toe in and shake everything. Great. Let's come to the front of the mat. We're going to build up to some things on the ground. So inhale nice and tall, arms come up. Exhale, forward fold, everything drops. Inhale, half lift, and exhale, forward fold, and then step back. And we did scapular push-ups in all fours. Let's try it now in a half plank. So you want to drop your hips down, draw your core in, hug your glutes in, untuck your toes. So you're in a half plank. So feel really solid in the shoulders, glutes, core, and then you're going to push the floor away and then retract those shoulder blades. So that's all that's happening. So scapular push up in a half plank. Okay, we're going to be using this on one side for Vashisthasana for side plank. Beautiful. Go back to child's pose to take a break. Take your arms back behind you, clasp your hands, and draw your shoulders back behind you to stretch out this way. And then when you inhale to come forward, if you'd like to do the scapular push-up in a full plank, you can do that. Great. So I like to spread my hands out. And if you want to keep doing it in half plank or all fours, you can choose to do it that way. So there I am in a plank. So I'm just doing the scapular push-up inside my plank. And I'm going to give you one more variation because I did I did an arm balance workshop with a woman who's, I think her name is Nicole Joy Chase. And she was talking about how when you want to do an arm balance, what you should do with your hands, so if you sort of picture the center of your palm, that what you want to do is sort of make a crease there by kind of pushing your fingertips down into the ground, and it kind of, and she's saying this is a stronger hand position. If you want to try that a little bit in the plank, so either plank or half plank, you can do it. So you want to push your fingertips down into the mat, feel like you've sort of got a concave in the center of your palm, and just see if you feel any different. And I certainly do. Take a break from that. I certainly do. She was doing crow pose, you know, when you kind of balance up on your arms with this action. All right, so now let's start to think about building into this Vashisthasana, and let's start supported, and then we can choose if we come out of supported or not. So I'm in the middle of my mat, in the middle of the long edge of my mat. I'm going to take my right foot out, right leg out, and I'm going to inhale my arms up. Then I'm going to exhale. I'm going to tip over till this hand is on the mat, and this arm is teed out. So here's supported Vashisthasana, supported side plank. And what I want to be doing is taking this shoulder blade and pulling it underneath my armpit so I feel a little stronger there. And if I want to do the fingertip here thing underneath me, I can as well. I can use that too. But I really want my armpit, my shoulder blade to be pulled under my armpit, and it feels stronger there. And if I want to come up into full Vashisthasana, I can then do that. So if I want to do that, I can do that. Feel super strong underneath your arm. Oh, then come up and shake everything out. And we'll get a chance to do this a couple of times. So let's go to the second side. So up, bring my left leg out. And then, so as soon as I put my hand down, I want to bring that shoulder blade right underneath there, whether or not I use my fingertips too, right? So I can be there, and I can stay here if I like to stay in supported, or I can lift up into Vashisthasana if I want to do full. Take everything out. So I'm so excited about this because nobody had ever suggested this particular way of moving the shoulder blade for strength before I took my yoga training, and I took a specialized shoulder unit, and they introduced this idea, and I thought, well, that's so brilliant. And you know, you can think about it in everyday life activities too. If you needed to do something, you can use that technique of putting the shoulder blade under to further support the arm. You have serratus anterior, which are the muscles that pull that protract the shoulder blade, is it serratus anterior. The rhomboid behind are the ones that retract. So there's a set of muscles that do that let the shoulder blade move in that way. All right, good. So let's go again. If you're doing full Vashisthasana, you can go right into full Vashisthasana. If you want to do supported, you can do supported. So let's start again on side one. And if you want to get really fancy, you can lift a leg. You feel strong. Okay. Taking my second side, however I like to do it. Just bringing that shoulder blade right underneath my arm. Okay. How are we on time? Oh, we're keeping on. All right, great. So let's. Legs out in front of us. And flex our feet, stretch our arms, point our fingers, and then let's do the opposite, switching. Sort of just a little love to the ankles and the wrists. All right, so since I already started talking about crow, and we have a little bit of time, I'm going to offer this, and you can just explore it without floating. So what I want to do is I'm going to so what's gonna happen is I'm on my toes, right? I want to put my arms underneath my legs. So my arms are right underneath my legs. And I want to really broaden my shoulder underneath that. And my feet are on the floor. So if I tip forward, I can start to feel what the balance would feel like, but I'm staying connected to my feet. And I want to actively do that, pushing my fingertips into the ground. And I want to really pull my core up and lift my and kind of lift my chest back up behind me, really broaden the upper part of my back behind me, and then I can just lift one foot, you know, and then the other foot, so I can sort of just play with it. So, and then because I want to see if I can come forward and float. So just play a little bit, and you can just really play with one foot and then the other foot to get a feel for it. But it's really, this is so much, it's arm balance, but it's so much a shoulder balance. Really broaden that collarbone, arm bones in the socket. Fun to play with. All right, let us come around supine, and what we're going to do on the ground, I'm going to do it seated so it's clear, is we're going to use Gomkhasana arms, but supine. So that is when I take one arm and put it right behind my head and put the other arm on my back. And I can try to bring them together, but in this supine place, I don't have to be so heroic. I just want to be something like this, but it's going to be supine. So let's take our right arm behind our head first and put our left arm underneath us, wherever is comfortable for us. So Gomkhasana, and then we're going to do the legs too. So then lift my legs up. I'm going to cross my right leg over my left leg. And then let's inhale together here. So kind of hug the knees in as much as you can. Everybody would be different here. And inhale. And then exhale and just let these knees and hips and do whatever fall over to the left. And then breathe here. And you might want to roll your head towards your right arm. And breathe here. Just see if you're comfortable. There's a lot going on. And in Gukasana arms, the left arm underneath me is internally, the shoulder is internally rotated, and the right arm behind my head is externally rotated, so you can notice that too. Legs back, and then tee out your arms and hug yourself and tee out. So just try to change the sensation, hug and tee and hug, then tee. Then I'm going to take my left hand behind my head, put my right arm underneath me, take my left leg over my right leg, hug it in if I can, and then inhale here and exhale. Drop the legs and hips, just feel that twist happening. And then so you want to roll your head a little bit over towards the left arm. And my right hand is peeking out underneath, and breathe here. The legs come back, the arms tee out, and then do that hugging gesture first. And then you can go ahead and take a happy baby, anything you want to take for Savasana. We will lengthen our legs and lengthen our arms. I do like to invite the palms to be up. I feel like that's a great way to drop those shoulders back. And another option that you might like to take here is to come back into cactus arms. So you can take your choice of what you'd like to do right now. And come into our breath, and just once again, notice the interaction of the breath cycle with your shoulder system. Still for a few moments for some. go into maybe some wrist and ankle motion. And grow into some full body stretches. So shoulders respond inside of that. And let's stay roll to our side. I kind of like to do this. So your head's on top of your bottom arm, top arm's on top. And they're really, in many ways, the shoulders just kind of collapse here as they would if you were going to sleep on your side. So just be sort of collapsoed for the moment. And then I'm going to think about how my shoulders can help lift me up. I am going to stretch my top leg up and push my hand down. And then once I'm there, I'm kind of broaden my shoulders as I sit up. And come into a nice, easy seat, whatever's comfortable for you. Settling your hands on your knees and then roll the shoulders back and down and just really feel how your shoulders are just right over your hips and your neck is nice and long. Maybe your chin's down a hair. And let us have 3 final breaths. I'm going to inhale through my nostrils. And I'm going to sigh it out. And I was talking about the sigh that kind of feels like it broadens my chest and shoulders. And then thank you for taking this deep shoulder dive with me today. That was a lot of fun. This coming week is going to be side body and latissimus, which is a big muscle in the back. So that'll be next.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
And I'm going
Thanks.
to change, Karen, I'm changing your program today. I'm going to leave animals as they are.
Yeah, that was fun. I like that one.
Yeah, but I'm going to change your sort of normal 3-day thing. I'll just shift it up a little bit.
Yeah, perfect. Okay,
And I've got
awesome.
there's going to be some boxing.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll talk to you soon. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Talk to you later.